Weapon X is loading. GP2 is on deck. The report is he's going to scrimmage in the next couple days, and he could possibly be available Sunday against the Timberwolves. Now, that controversial trade, the Blazers, the he said, they said thing, it's always two sides, and then the truth falls in between. You listen to Blazers Twitter tell it, and the Warriors were scandalous and scheming, and he's miraculously healed. I don't know. I can't call it. All we can do is focus on the future. I can't say I expected him to play. I was hoping by playoff time that he would be ready to go, and it appears that he will be, just in the nick of time. And so let's talk about what that means for this roster. We know what impact he had last season. What about this team? And I think the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, well, you can stick him on the other team's best scorer and muck up the offense, right? He's a disruptor, an on-ball defender, one of the most elite in this league. Yes, you can. But I think we also have to understand how little basketball GP2 has played in this last year. He's definitely going to be on a minutes restriction, right? I would imagine 20 minutes or under to start. And I think that the first thing that I'll be looking for is how comfortable is he playing vertically and extending up when you think about that injury, right? It's being able to, because what is his staple? It's his verticality. And if he can extend all the way up and he's comfortable doing it, is it mental? Is it physical? It's usually a little bit of both. So I'm looking to see his verticality and how willing he is to explode up. Initially, that's probably not fair because there's going to be rest anyway. I don't think I want to jump to too many conclusions physically right away, but that's what I'll have my eye on. Now, outside of the minute restriction, you say, okay, only 15, 20 minutes. That's enough. That's enough because how does this benefit the rest of the roster? I think first I'll start with Dante DiVincenzo, who has done a really good job playing the GP2 role this year and honestly playing more of a role, right? He's more dynamic offensively. Here's the thing with Dante, and you know, this was a make-good contract season where I think the writing is on the wall that he's earned himself quite a payday this offseason, a payday that the Warriors, frankly, just can't afford, right? How much do you think he's going to get paid? You know, because I don't know exactly who's going to set the market, but would you be blown away if some team said, all right, Dante, we're going to make you our starting two guard, and you're going to make around 20 mil per? Would that knock your socks off? I don't think it would when you look at today's market. You look at what Poole's been paid. Here's the pushback I would give when you look at Dante. And I'm not knocking him, it's just a reality of what I see. It's similar to JaVale McGee. And I know JaVale is a center. Obviously, he's a completely different player, but they play with the same motor, right? And you remember when JaVale was with us, you'd always hear a lot of people say, well, why doesn't JaVale play more? Why doesn't he start? Why does he only play 15, 20 minutes? Well, I think a part of that is JaVale plays so hard, he can kind of only play those many minutes at times, right? He doesn't know how to pace himself. Now, he's a much larger individual than Dante. I don't think it's a pacing issue with Dante in a single game. But I think what we're starting to see here in these final 10 games, the end of the season's winding down, I don't know if it's sustainable for Dante to be a heavy minute guy for an entire season, a starter who plays 30 minutes a night for an entire season. And he just plays too hard, right? His motor is so high. And I think where we're seeing that is his jump shot the last 10 days. He's dipped to like 30% from three. He uses a lot of leg in his jump shot. It's not that he elevates a ton, but it's a leg jump shot. You know, some guys, it's the wrist, it's the release. With Dante, he's very leg reliant on that three ball in particular. And you're seeing some tired legs down the stretch here because he's been asked to do so much. Again, I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying that would be the pushback as far as making Dante not a lead guard for your team, but a starter who plays heavy minutes for an entire season. And so I think even if GP2 can only give us initially 12, 15, 20 minutes at a time, I think that will relieve Dante of some of those on-ball duties and some of those heavy minute games and let him charge his battery just in time for the playoffs. Now, outside of just how GP2 is moving physically and how willing he is to play vertical, I think the next question is, how confident is he in that corner three-point shot? And I got to say, man, GP2 is remarkable. The fact that we know what he went through last year in the playoffs, the Memphis incident, coming back in the finals. For a guy like that who hurts his shooting elbow, mind you, he is not a shooter, right? He's not a shooter, right? He can make shots. He's learned to make shots, but he's not a shooter. To come back in on that stage and have the confidence to not only pull the trigger, but knock down that corner three is just a testament to how tough-minded he is as a competitor. And so, again, curious if he's shooting that without hesitation, if he's willing to drive the baseline and elevate. Is it a mind-body connection? Does he just have to gain confidence in his body again? So I think, to be fair, we got to give him some time, even if we don't have that much time, as far as all these games matter so much. But even if he's just buying Dante 10, 12 minutes a game, I think that that's a value right now. So there's some of these other guys. It's not just Dante. Loon looks at a gas, it's like Loon. I love him, man. I love Loon. Loon, like, low key, should be part of the statue. You know what I mean? Loon's just ingrained in this dynasty at this point. But every game you hear a telecast say, "Oh, the Iron Man Kevon Looney hasn't missed a game," and it's very admirable when you consider where his career started. But he's looking worn out right now, right? He's running on fumes. He could stand to play less minutes right now, and that's perhaps where Kuminga comes in. Talking about last video, the performance in Dallas, he's coming on strong. He is now on course to fulfill his destiny as who we thought he could be, right? But we'll talk plenty about Kuminga, I'm sure, as this rest of this season plays out. But maybe buy Looney some more minutes in the same vein that I'm talking about Dante and letting him charge his battery for the playoffs. I know Loon wants to keep the streak alive, but if they could limit his minutes and let him rest up, Draymond's the same scenario. We just need depth. And so adding another body to the rotation, however you spread those minutes out, can rest some of these guys that have been carrying the load of this shallow team the entire season, really. Who do we have? Sixers tonight. Got to make it a track meet. You got to make it a track meet, right? On paper, you could argue this is the worst matchup in the league for us. You have a dominant big who, oh, by the way, also is a rim protector, a ton of big switchable defenders on the perimeter, right? And then a lead pick and roll guard who can pick you apart in high screen action. But the caveat with the Sixers, if you watch them, is they are by far the slowest team in the league. Embiid, he strained the calf? The calf is bad news, y'all. You saw what happened to Towns. It wasn't that significant, but as I say this, and I'm thinking about tonight's matchup, I wouldn't be surprised if for whatever reason we don't see much of Embiid, because a tight calf in a man that large, I don't know if you want to push the issue. But Embiid, we know, lumbers up and down the court. PJ Tucker, Tobias Harris, bigger guys, they're not gazelles, right? Harden is going to, putts up and down the court. So even off made baskets, if the Warriors can push the pace tonight and get out and run and make this a track meet, and it goes without saying, make enough threes, that's their recipe to putting this win together and climbing, hell, maybe even to that fourth seed. I know it sounds crazy, but anything is possible these final 10 games. But yeah, GP2, if not Sunday, this coming week, just in the nick of time to add some depth and another defender. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.